Mangine, physical therapist, athletic trainer for about 45 years. So she came down here from the University of Pittsburgh, been around the University of Cincinnati for quite some time. So it's great being here, it's a great town. And we're about to introduce a great product.
I think so too. My name is Matthew Langenderfer. I'm a University of Virginia Medical School graduate, and I did my orthopedic residency here at the University of Cincinnati. That's how I first met Bob. And I'm a private practitioner in Cincinnati. And we thought we'd discuss a little bit about something that you're going to become quite familiar with in the near future.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the evolution and progression of crutches was stuck on autopilot for about 100 years. And then, along comes Will Scott and his company and some design changes that I think are exciting.
Very exciting, revolutionary.
Absolutely. And I think that if you look at the traditional models that are out there with a single point foot plate, I think it leads to a lot of issues that we in physical therapy have had for years. Everything from neural praxis, from too much pressure under the axilla, to chest wall issues, to wrist issues. If I had $1 for every patient developed carpal tunnel from dealing with the traditional crutch, I'd probably be retired by now.
I believe it.
So I think this new design will be really exciting for people to see and for people to try. Let's take a look real quick at a standard crutch. I mean, this thing has not changed for maybe 100 years.
Well, it went metal about 100 years ago, and then beyond thousands.
And if you look at just start at the bottom and work your way up, you've got a contact area that's not very big.
No.
And these babies wore out pretty quickly depending on how much the patient would use them. And the second you wear them out, and a lot of people don't know they're worn out, they start on concrete with a metal surface, wet surfaces, they start slipping right away. You got a hand plate that hasn't changed. I can remember being a young PT back in Pittsburgh in the old days, same design, only made out of wood instead of made out of metal, and really small grip. So I mean, if you had a large hand, you have to wrap a bunch of junk around it to expand it, and if they had too big of or too small of a hand, they couldn't really get a good fit on it. And then you got the axilla. Wow, I mean, how many problems are caused by exercise?
It's 100% if they lean on it, so there's no way around it.
No way around it. So I think that you have to take this traditional model and say, it's been there for a long, long time, and it's time to change. Starting back at the bottom, just look at the design of the bottom and the fact that you've got a wider surface, more contact area, almost looks like a tire person.
Yes, with grip on each one of these little pebbles here, it's incredible.
Right, and then you have the ability to have this sort of kind of move as you move in a normal pattern so that you're not stuck vaulting the crutch almost like a pole vault, but actually have the crutch oscillate back and forth and really feel better as you're making contact. The kids I've had on them have loved them because they feel more secure because of the width of the contact.
No question. Well, can you imagine when you step on that small cylinder, if you put direct pressure on it, you're on a surface area, maybe a few square inches. The second you reach out to take a step, you're on the edge of that rubber. We reach out with these things, all we have is surface area everywhere, all across. Convexity, tremendous surface area, and the surface area actually increases as we go to the front. And like you said, you get this spring effect, the spring forward effect. That's just remarkable, the energy it conserves in the athlete who's on these.
Right. The other thing is we put in a little bit of a shock absorbency for you, so it's not quite as hard on your upper extremity as you're using them. Most of our joints, and a lot of people don't look at it this way, but actually if you look at the hip, the knee, the ankle, you actually have a piston. We call it a degree of freedom. You have compression, and then you have the distraction phase. When you look at the traditional crutch model, that degree of freedom really isn't there versus the shock absorbency of a piston where you have compression versus you have the distraction phase. So it makes it much more comfortable for the athlete or the patient to be able to feel that and transition. So as you're walking, you're basically transitioning from one surface to another, one foot surface to the next foot surface. If we take, and doctors of surgery where I can't wait there for a while, then these become your other surface. So something that looks more like a foot model is more secure to the patient than, say, as Doc said, a small portion of contact. So you look at that security, the safety, especially in inclement weather, the safety, and I think we're much further ahead than we were.
No question, the foot's an excellent design.
Take into account the hand play. The hand play ergonomically allows a more spread area of surface contact. Doesn't matter if you have a small hand, doesn't matter if you have a large hand. You're able to really get the contact you need with this, less likely to put too much pressure on that thenar and hyperthenar position, so that you can get more surface contact with the hand. Too many times in this traditional model, we actually have to take tape and towels or tape and foam, and we keep taping over these in order to increase the surface area, whether it be up here in the axilla or down here at the hand placement. So I think this design, just not right ergonomically.
I agree with you. The number one thing I see, Bob, the number one complaint on crutches is the hand pain. And some patients will say within 1 day of being on crutches, their hand aches. Can you imagine if you're at 6 or 12 weeks and on the first day your hand aches, and then the hand aches, and then all of a sudden it's not only aching, but now my fingers are numb because I'm giving myself carpal tunnel. It's just it's a great disability to have to put that kind of pressure on such a poor design. But this fits our hand. We've changed the rubber and the energy restoring rubber that we're using. This will fit anyone's hand, large or small, and you can just put all your weight, and frankly, it's just comfortable. You should feel this thing. We're very proud of that piece.
Right, and I think that you look at different devices Will's looked at over time. We're hoping to use this piece in other devices as well because of patient comfort, safety, and less long-term problems.
Absolutely.
The chest wall is really what I got excited about when we first started putting these together several years back, because one of the issues we worry about is obviously if that crutch shoulder piece, axilla piece is too high, you have your big number of nerves up here, and the next thing you know, you start getting pain all the way down your arm. So the curve on this was designed to fit comfortably on our chest walls. And then the amount of rubber and absorbency that this has gone through is such that you don't need to pad it anymore. You don't need to put those extra towel rolls up there. And the kids have really enjoyed the fact that this slope or this arch here fits much more secure within their chest wall, and they're able to get a more firm feel as they're using them. They don't get that front to back slip.
No, there's no slipping out. It grips their torso, it's comfortable, and it doesn't injure the brachial plexus.
Right.
It's a win-win. You can put pressure on it, much improved.
The units are really easily adjustable. You've got push pins in there. You can bring it up and down as you need, both on the bottom, the foot part, as well as on the shoulder part. Their traditional measuring techniques are the same. We go with the 2-finger breaths underneath the axilla, so that it's technically not designed to push up, it's designed to come in. And I think because of the foot plate, it's easier to get the pressure to the medial or lateral side and not have quite as much force up, but so that pressure's coming in.
Pressure's in. Good.